Before you quit your job to be an entrepreneur, especially in the world of real estate as a transaction coordinator, consider the 5 following steps. Step into my office. Let's go. One of the most important decisions I made for myself was getting things in order before I quit. I quit my job 5 years ago this month. It's February 2023. February 27th was the 5th year exactly. So, in honor of that, I'm going to do a 2-part series. This one, 5 steps. I call it the TC launch checklist. So, before you launch your TC business or any business, honestly, this applies to anyone out there wanting to pursue entrepreneurship. These were the 5 steps that I applied in my life prior to quitting. And honestly, it was the best decision I ever could have made for myself, and building and or at least starting to build a foundation for what is now today First Class Dreams LLC, also known as Transaction Care. So let's get into this episode of TC with Lily. I'm your host, Lily, like the flower. So let's learn and grow together. This is what I'm talking about. It's called the TC Launch Checklist. If you join my newsletter, go to transactioncare.com. You can join my newsletter. It will take you to a free download of this. I'll put a link in the description below on where to just access this for free. You can also buy it if you want. It's a digital download. But basically, I broke this down because I needed to understand in any decision I make moving forward, what are the bases that I need to touch? What areas do I need to focus on first before I can really dive into either a new business venture or collaboration, anything. I need to get focused, I need to be guided, and I need some steps to just keep me aligned in that process. So this is the breakdown of that. First step, why? Second step, your budget. Third step, education. Fourth step, marketing. And finally, your mindset. I know I've talked about this in previous episodes and on my podcast, transactioncarepodcast.com. But I really want to break this down and give this a solo video on this topic. So the TC Launch Checklist is just my checklist of giving back to those that are curious about starting a business, but you just don't know where to start. So let's get into it. Why? Why do you want to start a business? That's the first question you should ask yourself. Having a solid why is the equivalent to having a solid foundation for a home. So for anyone wanting to start a business, especially one within the real estate industry, your why is what's going to reel you back in when you are struggling, when you are doubting yourself, when you are wondering, why the hell am I doing this in the first place, right? Why am I suffering? Why am I choosing violence every single day? And the truth is, it's in here. It's what you tell yourself every day. I'm doing this because I want a better life. I'm doing this because I need to make more money so I can support my family. I'm doing this so I can travel more with my family. I'm doing this so I can feel fulfilled in an industry I am passionate about. There's so many reasons as to why we do things. I think it's important that we verbalize them, write them down so we know it's real, and so we can reference this every time we are struggling, or even when we have huge accomplishments, we can go back and say, this is why. This is what kept me focused. This is what kept me deep in it. This is what kept me doing that stuff that was uncomfortable and making those phone calls when I didn't want to. This is what kept me up late nights, or this is what got me on those flights across the country to meet people and to network and to communicate and go to conferences. So your why is so pivotal, and that's why I put it at number 1. And it was my why that kept me in line and focused in that first year of my business, because I had no idea what I was doing. And I couldn't tell you, even 5 years in it, there's so much I'm still learning. But if it wasn't for having this guideline of a roadmap for myself, I would have been completely lost. Budget. Know your numbers. Know your numbers. Knowing and accepting what and who you can afford now and or later is a key element to scaling your business. Before I quit my job, I made sure my money was in order. There was no way I was going to quit my job with zero money in my pocket when I knew at the moment I made up my mind to quit my job, I had nothing solid lined up. And that's what entrepreneurship is. It's you're just constantly just working towards the next check and the next payout. But it was important for me to have some reserves saved so I could have that cushion to know that if this doesn't work out, I have at least until the end of the summer or the end of this season, this quarter, to figure it the hell out. And then once I was in it and I started making money consistently, I was able to afford more stuff. I was able to invest back into my business. I started out with just a laptop. I didn't have a monitor. I didn't have external microphones or mouses or, this chair. Like there's this fancy desk. I didn't have any of that. Granted, some of it was gifted to me during the holidays, so I'm grateful for that. But all these little things that I didn't think I needed, which in my opinion, you do. I'll do an office tour video as well, but I just started with a laptop and a vision and a dream and a solid why and a few months of money in my reserves. But it was really just me carrying on this dream of, all right, what am I going to do? How long is this going to last? It was the confidence in knowing that my money was in order and continuing to learn how to spend my money throughout the years is what keeps me going. To this day, I still have reserves in my bank account. Otherwise, the last 6 months have been probably the roughest for me financially. And I'll talk about that in another video. But knowing my numbers and being ahead of the game and making sure I have at least 1 month, a week, 2 months, 6 months saved really gives me that relief that, okay, well, if this month is going to bring in, I only have a couple closings, at least I know I have my reserves. Speaking of money, the timing. Also, just because I started one business doesn't mean you can't have multiple. Do your research, do your due diligence. But I have a reselling business as well. And that was that sound. I just made a sale. Look at God. So, education. That is the next step I want to talk about. Education is so important. I cannot stress that enough. Education, education, education. Research what type of education, courses, licensings, and or certifications are required for your city and state, county. This builds confidence. So going back to that whole notion of confidence and education, I cannot stress the importance of education. I just released a podcast episode talking about getting my real estate exam passed, getting my real estate license and passing the exam, and the difficulties and the stresses behind it and what to expect. But if it wasn't for me doing my due diligence and educating myself, I wouldn't have had the confidence to even pursue such a task. Going back to education, research what type of education, courses, licensing, and or certifications are required for your city, state, country. This builds confidence. I cannot stress, like I said, if you're unsure about something or you're insecure about a topic and it's not your wheelhouse, but you want to be able to have conversations about them or contribute in group settings or just have the knowledge for yourself, right? Do some research. Go to YouTube. Read a book on it. When it comes to real estate, the importance of having your license, being certified. It looks great on paper, of course. Having that background is important. And it really built up my own personal confidence the moment I passed those exams. So I implore you to just go out there, do the research so you can feel better about these decisions that you are making moving forward. And for those that are already in this industry, continued education is important to sustaining, to continuously building self-confidence, as well as standing out in overly saturated market, an unpredictable economy, education is honestly the key. And the only reason it's third is because sometimes school costs money, most of the time. And many of us are in debt because of that. So if we don't have our money in order, it could be hard to get fully educated, or I don't want to say properly educated, because is a lot of free resources online available to us. But money. It rules this world. Okay, marketing. Let's talk about marketing. There are multiple ways to market your business. Exhaust all options. Stick to what works best. Adjust and reset as needed. What do I mean by that? You want to put yourself out there by any means necessary. People need to know who you are. Some of my closest family and friends don't even know what I do for a living. I talk about this a lot, but I think it's hilarious. And I could say the same for many of them as well. I know like the titles, know exactly what they do. And it's okay. So when it comes to having a business and marketing it, you want to tell people what you do constantly be introducing yourself on social media, even if it feels repetitive or that the people, or annoying, that the people that already follow you are like, well, I already know her. Why does she keep saying her name? It's because as you're growing, your audience will grow. Those in your network will grow. If you're creating evergreen content that could resurface a year from today, and you just get straight into talking, someone may be like, well, who was that one girl in that video? She was talking about real estate. I don't remember her name. It's little things like that. Those subtle attention to detail, those subtle attentions to detail that matter and that compound over time. Being mindful of the audience that you want to reach, knowing who is your target customer and speaking to them, talking to them, reaching out to them, compliment them, offer free services when you possibly can to expand your network as a marketing tool. It's just a genuine offering. Not everything also has to be about marketing and money and all of that thing. Part of building a community and a network is being available, is building trust. And my goal is to constantly be building trust with my people, my community, and those that I plan on reaching in this process. So put out ads, paid ads, organic growth, all of it are areas that we should be touching. Hand-to-hand flyers, email, mailers, go to offices, do talks, workshops, career nights, explore all the options, cold calling, YouTube, podcasts, social media. We have so many options, and I know it could be overwhelming. So pick what works for you. Stick to 3 things for the next 6 months to a year, and that's it. It's your choice. Whatever works best. You could try 10 things all at once, and the top 3 that stick, just stick with those 3 for the next 6 months to a year, and then refine it and refresh and reassess after that. Let me know how it goes. Finally, one of my favorites, mindset. Success is present in each day we are given. Everything and everyone else is a bonus. Remain a student, believe in you, remember why you are doing this, and keep going. Having the proper mindset when it comes to work, building a career, starting a business is important. I'm constantly listening to podcasts from people that I admire, whose business practices, whose business impact has influenced me and it's influenced my actions, it's influenced what I've read, and it's important to have the right mindset going into these type of things, because there will be days where you're not going to want to do this. You're going to want to quit. You want to give up. You're going to say, hey, I think I'm just going to go back and get a job, which is fine. Totally fine. Go get that job. Do what you got to do, especially in trying times like this. I'm telling you, I'm on the Indeed app every day, just in case, and It's okay if you have to get that 9 to 5 to supplement your income, to invest in your income, or to stay at your job a little longer before you ultimately just call it quits. Now, of course, if they're being abusive and it's just a situation that you must get out of, then get out of it quick. You know, it's not fair for you to torture yourself or to be tortured or be mistreated. Get out of those situations ASAP. I think you would be much happier working somewhere else in the meantime as you continue to build yourself up and build your business. So mindset is everything. The books you read, what you feed your brain every day in terms of audio, visual, all of that. It plays a part in you being a successful entrepreneur. And I just want to encourage everyone out there to continue to invest in yourself every day. That's all I can suggest. That's all I can offer that is concrete, is the more you invest in yourself, the more you will feel better about yourself. And it doesn't always have to be related to business. It could be you investing in your mental health. It could be you investing in your physical health. It could be you investing more quality time with friends and family. Whatever you need to feel charged, to feel energized, to feel grounded, to feel joy, invest in it, you know, and continue to invest in yourself and all of the projects that you choose to endeavor in life. We don't have to be one-dimensional. We're multidimensional. And if in this season real estate is calling you, pursue it. And in the next season, baking is calling you, be a baker. If it's sports, hey, we may not be able to go to the NBA or the NFL at this stage in our lives, but maybe it's coaching. Maybe it's as a realtor for athletes. It's all already lined up. We just have to believe and think outrageously and pursue it. Because along that journey, somewhere, some way, you're going to look back and be like, did I really achieve all of that in this short amount of time? Because I dedicated myself to it. I pursued it. I stayed focused. I invested in me. That's all it took. And to think I almost stayed at my 9 to 5 because I was miserable and didn't choose myself. Whatever your ministry is telling you to do, and when I say ministry, I mean whatever you, your heart, your soul, and your conversations with God, the universe, or the higher being that you believe in, pursue it. And if you want to talk to me about this, let me know, send me a message. We can schedule some time. I'm open to dialogue and building that rapport. Definitely join my newsletter because my TC community is where it all goes down. You guys find out everything first. They knew about my podcast a month before it even dropped. They're the only ones getting exclusive drops and discounts for my merch. Yes, merch coming soon. And there's a lot. I'm working on some things. Some may come into fruition, some may not. I just have to keep putting it out there. So with all of that said, this is another episode of TC with Lily. If you want to get this TC launch checklist, hit the links in my description below. All of it is there, or just go to transactioncarepodcast.com or transactioncare.com to join my TC community. I want to grow with you all. My goal is to hit 100 subscribers. Community members. You guys aren't just subscribers. Community members in the next 6 weeks. I do think it's possible. It's just a matter of continuously showing up and building that trust with you all, my community. And whatever topics you want me to discuss on this channel, I will be doing a live Q&A every third Wednesday of the month. So definitely check back. You can bring your questions. I'll answer them live. We can dialogue. We can have a work with me day. All in that one session. I'll stay on live as long as I can, as long as the time permits. I don't have any meetings or other appointments. But I'll stay on there for at least an hour and we can build together. So live sessions on YouTube every third Wednesday. I'll announce the time on my social media, so at Transaction Care. And if you're a part of my newsletter, I'll announce it there as well. But most likely around noon, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'll be doing a live session, live Q&A session every third Wednesday. So at the top of every month, count the third Wednesday. So in February, it's going to be February 15th. And then March, it's going to be March 15th. Let's check April. April is going to be April 19th. That's also my birthday week, so there may not be a live that week. There might be, there may not be. But for now, let's focus on this first upcoming live. And any Q&As you have, bring them to the live. That's where we'll meet. Next, and then the week after that, I'm going to be doing another live, just kind of summarizing my month, anything I went through in that week that I want to share, discussing news topics that's going on within the real estate industry. But I'm really out here. I want to grow with you guys. I want to build. I want to continuously have fun and really take this more seriously. And I appreciate anyone that is watching this far into the video. Please share it, like it, comment, all of that. It helps to spread the word to other people, to show and to push my content out to other like-minded people as yourself, who I know will do amazing in life. So with that said, this is another episode of TC with Lily. I am your host, Lily like the flower. We're learning and growing together. So cheers to more abundance, affluence, prosperity, more discretionary income, all of that. Care for yourself, care for your wealth. Your time is worth it. Let's coordinate.